Namaste and welcome to the second season of Future Fit Corporates. My name is Bhavana Issar and I'm the founder CEO of Caregiver Saathi. In this season, we are going global and shifting the narrative. Caregiving is not a career obstacle or something that organizations must accommodate. It's a leadership accelerator. And through candid conversations with corporate leaders, consultants, and change makers, we explore how caregiving shapes resilience, empathy, and innovation. Let's discover what it truly takes to build workplaces that don't just include caregivers, but recognize that caregiving experience is an asset. Because the future of work is not just tech, female, or inclusive, it's compassionate, it's innovative, and therefore caregiver friendly. Welcome to Future Fit Corporates. Greetings of the day and welcome to yet another conversation on Future Fit Corporates. I am delighted to bring you to what promises to be a unique conversation for reasons that I have hope and that I have some evidence as well. So, Future Fit corporates are organizations that are resilient and innovative and are able to cope with the changing times. What does it mean to shape future fit corporates? In our view, we need to recognize different people and especially caregivers who tend to be invisible, not just in workplaces, but sometimes in society as well. Future Fit Corporates is our endeavor to shine the light on caregivers, not just as individuals who deserve accommodations or leeway, but as individuals who come in with very special skills that can shape workplaces to be both innovative and resilient. It is my pleasure today to have a conversation with Praful Baweja, the founder of 6 Degrees Diversity Council, as an out, loud, and proud advisor with ADHD, whose work life spans a journey from grassroots to global media and corporate corridors to Rashtrapati Bhavan. He's an advocate of all things marketing with a purpose after years of working in below-the-line campaigns and training solutions that help in organization development. He founded and scaled his UNDP, an Atal Innovation Mission incubated consulting firm that specializes in developing and executing bespoke experiences. He spearheads business development, client acquisition, and key account management, while cultivating relationships with a diverse portfolio of corporates, including Amazon, EY, Uber, NetApp, ArcelorMittal, Nippon Steel, Godrej Group, PhonePe, NatWest, Mahindra Logistics, Piramal Pharma. My God, that's a very, very long list, and many, many more. He's designed award-winning experiential IPs and large-scale event activations, has many accolades to his credit, and without listing all of them, which you will find in the description, I would rather jump into the conversation with Praful. Hi, Praful. Welcome.
Hello, Bhavana. How are you?
I'm very well and so excited we are finally having this conversation. Unfortunately, we couldn't have it last week as we had planned because I had my health issues and I'm grappling with menopause, but I'm glad we are having this conversation today.
I'm glad every time I have a conversation with you, I know that there is always a, a new dimension to explore. There is always something that has been unearthed that is somewhere looking at, being resolved, somewhere looking at, all right, I'm present, acknowledge me and work with me. Some of that very humane aspects come out in our conversation. So I'm always happy and glad to do that.
Yeah. Immediately a reel went past, and I was reminded of the first time we met at an event, which was about diversity and caregiving at workplaces. And we had such a delightful conversation, and we hit it off. And we've had many conversations since. Let's open this conversation today with what's your take on caregiving, caregivers, and caregiver Saathi.
Okay. Three very distinct conversations there, right? Like caregiving as an act, as something that we very easily don't acknowledge, right? Because it's a given. What I look at care as is a gift. I look at it as something, as the ability to do and provide and to offer. All these three things are a gift, because with all my ADHD, autism spectrum conversations, everything that goes on in my head and life, obviously, to acknowledge something, to work with something, to register something, to reciprocate on something is a very different way than what a neurotypical would approach it or receive it. I joined the dots differently. So
Mm.
when it comes to, uh, Gen Z speaks a lot about love language, and they speak about, oh, this one's love language is this, that one's love language is. We each have a care language. We each
Mm.
have way in which we express our tenderness, our concerns, our worries, our just um, desire for well-being,
Mm.
right? So that is something that one keeps discovering all their life, and
Mm.
defining it might not be the best way. Acknowledging it might be something that mm, is of more use than defining it and putting a lid and having a conclusion, because if the life hasn't concluded, caregiving hasn't. And caregivers, now each of one are, you understand the subject from much more, you have plethora of lived experiences. I have had the privilege of working on grassroots with thousands of people through Pride. Training wise, we do things for early career people, people in plants and factory locations, and um, it's not a standard white collar IT only kind of environment,
Mm.
because for us, skilling, upskilling, even if it is just sensitizing or somebody
Mm.
understanding how to use a certain tech, like even Excel upskilling, no matter how basic it looks, for some people it can be a game changer. Because yeah, so because we work with communities that might not have access to a lot of stuff, even
Mm.
the skilling is caregiving of certain kinds.
Yeah,
Even this,
yeah.
you know, when organizations look at employee engagement, not having one size fits all is caregiving. Um, all of that. So caregivers come in all shapes, sizes,
Mhm.
you know, all kind of origins everywhere. It might not be a standardized category like people imagine. Somebody who's a healthcare worker or XYZ, it might not be that imagery that will do justice to
Mm.
it.
Mm.
And as an app, as a community, Caregiver Saathi, now I think of it more as the community than the app and the kind of offering there is,
Mhm.
because
Mm.
the people who embody the title of Caregiver Saathi. I've had privilege of being in the group, not actively being engaged as much, but at least being able to listen or just go through what people's experiences are like. What are they looking for? How challenging or how easy something can be for anybody who's a Saathi and thereby a
Mm,
caregiver, right? Because
mm-hmm,
your companionship or your partnership of whatever kinds might be the basis on which this caregiving is being offered. And
mm,
just to observe that has been a privilege. I really think that's a very rich, mm, it it really equips you in a certain manner to
mm,
have conversation which most people will label as difficult and avoid
mm,
and spend a lot of energy not engaging in it and looking the other way, which might just be a conversation about which brand of adult diaper is correct for a person with a certain condition
mm,
for you to purchase and for you to use a certain kind of
mm,
sheet, a certain kind of bed sore treatment. It might be something very basic that somebody else at any given point of time might require.
mm,
And yeah, but but a lot of people avoid it like, wow, it's something to be scared of, and
mm,
like there's no other choice to it.
mm, mm. Thank you for sharing that. And, how do you personally relate with caregivers in your life as you grew up, the
Hmm.
people who cared for you, and what kind of a caregiver are you today?
So ours has been a nuclear family in Mumbai, migrant. So while a lot of support, a lot of robust stuff was in Jaipur where I was born, and
Mm,
then the families migrated everywhere as well, the others as well. Um, so my family was pretty much involved in surviving in Mumbai,
mm,
right? So
mm,
so that changes the dynamic, that changes a lot of things because you don't have the support system that is existing. You're uprooted and you're put somewhere else, and then you take a certain number of years to just have a basic connect, right? So caregiving for us more than anything else, the community that we had around that shaped the caregiving for first 10 years for sure, because anybody could walk into anybody's home and we would have a very generic, even if I don't know how difficult it would have been for my parents, but they did trust the people around
mm,
to pull in and look after me and my sister. And we shifted quite many homes, etc., uh, till they found a certain kind of footing or permanence, XYZ,
mm,
blah. So it was not a consistent thing for me. Parents, dad has been traveling for work. My mother took up jobs in between and all. So it was not a thing for me. I remember being even in second standard and um, traveling to school alone,
mm,
right? When my sister would be in fourth or fifth or whatever, she was a bit elder than me, 3 years elder, but that class kept changing that way. So we wouldn't travel together. And we would cross a rail track, which was supposedly a very big deal for everybody. That, oh, in second crosses rail track and goes to the other side and blah blah blah, and school used to be like, I think 3-4 kilometers away, something like
mm,
around that much. So for everybody, it was a big deal for us to get ready for school, XYZ and blah. So we knew that because of everything that my mom does, each of us get one strike. My sister gets one strike, I get one strike in morning. So we can get help with one task. We can't get help
mm,
with so many tasks. So
mm,
either it can be uniform, or it can be books, or it can be breakfast. It can be all
mm,
three at once. So there was a
mm,
very clear sense of and I don't even know when we created those habits and how we ventured into it, but that's a pattern that I remember. And I was a child who required a lot of care as far as health is concerned. ENT issues always, asthma a lot of times, and mold allergy, etc. So sinus wise, there used to be a morning routine of, even if my mom is sleeping and we are in morning creating a big ruckus, lights are on and things are being put upside down, whatever way. She would ask how many sneezes I've had till now and how many more to go, then she'll estimate and then figure out if she has to step in and help me get out for that day. So that is one very distinct memory of
Mm.
caregiving, but in a unique way.
Mm.
Because it was never something that we were given on a platter.
Mm.
We valued it. Also, a lot of meals, a lot of things. So I started cooking at, I think, 8th, 9th wise in certain manner, whatever. My mom allowed all of that because which was so against putting her stuff upside down and not the kind of workflow that she would enjoy remotely. But yeah, so a lot of that, I really
Mm.
have seen people turn up, give us what we require it lots of times. So a lot of kindness of strangers, a lot of kindness of professors, a lot of kindness of friends' parents. I was literally adopted by my
Mm.
best friend's parents. And
Mm.
so much so that after years, when I went to my best friend's wedding, and I can't speak Tamil now as a child, they used to only speak to me in Tamil, and I would reply and stuff because it was
Mm.
just their home. 80% of my meals were at their home. Like afternoon
Mm.
meals, 80% of time were at their home. Like once a week, I would have my lunch at home. Max. Well,
Mm.
twice was an exception,
Mm.
kind of a thing. So,
Mm.
a lot of community and foster conversation around me and extending it as well. It used to be where, funnily, me and like two what to say, sanskari adarsh wala conversation, where people who are trusted, two boys who are trusted, because we had co-ed, but in 10th they had a brilliant idea of they need to focus on studies, so we'll have two divisions, one of girls, one of guys. And ridic-
Interesting.
yeah, it was very funny as well, because at coaching we were all together, right? So 2 hours later, we would be sitting wherever, whoever, however that we wanted, pulling each other's hair apart. But school believed that this would create a certain kind of focus on studies and blah. So instead, it used to be where if the boys' class gets dismissed early because your portion is over, go home, revise, study for 10, that's important, and blah blah blah. So two of us or three of us used to be waiting down for all these girls to come. If the girls' class gets left beforehand, 2 lectures, 3 lectures, whatever, there'll be 32 of them on road creating fracas waiting for three of us. And each of their parents would be still okay that, okay, Praful is going. Okay, Vinod is going. Okay, Harshal is going. If these three are going, then I'm leaving my my child along with them. They'll look after. And three of us getting permission from 30 parents to look after. It'd be like lots of fun stuff, actually,
Mm.
that way. So
Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
caregiving that way. Then community wise, a lot of conversations that I had of LGBT community later once I grew up, and then so
Yeah.
my definition is
How
not.
is caregiving in the LGBT community different or challenging or not so different?
It's both, right? There can't be a black and white. Both the sides of the coin have a same value, right? So while we say community, generally within the space we have too much of diversity for us to feel belonged
Mm.
um, equally or equitably. Everybody feels somebody else is getting best part of the pie, and
Mm.
there is that, and there always will be. That's the
Mm.
part of being queer, because we are clumped together as alternative sexuality,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It is not that by default that gay men actually get well along with lesbian women. It's not the case.
No.
Um, uh, both of these groups have to put extreme efforts to like each other, because there is a very clear, what to say, mm, a sense that the cognizance that we have that you don't consider me as worthy of intimacy.
Yeah.
Right? So and it's not just physical intimacy, right? There's emotional intimacy
Mm.
of certain kinds, and also you are at a certain distance,
Yeah.
yet you work together so much in so many spaces. Like 2000 till 2018 in Mumbai, we worked as a unit. And how, like, I
Mm.
started organizing Pride in 2008. It was the
Mm.
first year. 2009, actually, I would have had something to contribute. And 10 onwards, I had a very clear role, and then whatever. And it was still 12, 15 years into my career. So I could offer something of value.
Mm.
And we could, do things together.
Mm.
So LGB bi erasure is real. So that's the invisible minority totally. Few of us in LGBT space can camouflage or pass by in whatever manner in norming, because norm keeps changing any which way.
Mm.
So what I do currently looks very traditional, because there are young lot that is doing much more and much different stuff, and that looks, oh, that is now the definition of being queer. It's moved from here, and I'm like, thank you for taking that piece out, because I use my hands, and that used to be a big deal. Uh, if I stand in a certain manner or have a certain posture or a certain gait, that used to be a big deal, and now it isn't. So I'm like, thank you for that. But caregiving wise, you know, LGBT conversation wise, we have to understand what the uh, others in community are going through, or currently what's their pain point, or what is the biggest thing. And that's a very active thing that we have to
Mm.
consciously do, because that's where privilege comes in, and that's where a lot of respect and
Mm.
grace comes in, because India's reality is that we are a class and caste driven uh, majority,
Mm.
and that's the invisible
Mm.
marker, supposedly invisible, but that is a big programming that is there.
Mm.
It affects throughout, and
Mm.
the confirmation bias and affinity bias is lived truth for everybody. And since we don't conform to large majority within
Mm.
our pockets, forming those small little, you know, rooms and spaces is important for
Mm.
each. There has
Mm.
to be a forum for people who are in closet,
Mm.
and who are discreet, and who do not feel the need to speak about themselves, and who's in their bed to others.
Mm.
And then there is somebody who's married and queer, and their lived experience is very different than somebody who's not. And if somebody says asks about, like, there's so much of ignorance about each other, even till now, even with ChatGPT, even with everything put together, people don't have reliable, sources of knowing the overall LGBT lived experience. There's nothing there. So caregiving is also not going with your assumed version
Mm.
of somebody, and pronouns come there, a lot of these things come there, and that's where we are right now, I guess.
Mm. So, from listening to you, what I make out is if I care for someone who belongs to the LGBT community, it's going to be a lot of ambiguity for me.
For everybody. Mm, fluidity. Now, feminine fluidity is one thing where caregiving takes a lot from, and uh, that's what nurtures a lot. There is also fluidity that is not channeled as much as the gender piece, the mainstream gender piece. All right.
Mm.
And I see LGBT piece where it is not channeled as much as women being programmed from day one,
Mm.
right? We have queer women who have both of these put together. It's a very weird push and pull that is there because there is programming.
Tell me about your observations about women being programmed.
Uh, it is more than observation, it's a burden. Uh, because because my mother, my sister, both of them are constantly into it, right? So and some part of me that relates to the feminine aspect always is subjected to that. So um being able to just listen to your own self. I'm not even saying voice
Mm.
it out.
Mm.
Voicing is agency. It's a very different ball game.
Mhm.
But to allow yourself to listen to yourself and knowing this
Mm.
is my voice, that's so rare. That's so rare. And it's discouraged. It's brushed under things. It's piled upon by a lot of tasks. All sort of stuff happens with that, right? So knowing who you are as a woman,
Mm.
wow, that's a task. That's a lifelong task.
You think it's a little harder for women than men?
With the way our systems are designed, 110%.
Oh, okay. So, taking the idea further with some of the insights that you were recently having. So, what is the universe of caregiving in your world today? You were telling me about your sister and her challenges. I would like, if you are okay, to talk about that.
So it is not only her, it is anybody who has prioritized somebody else
Mm-hmm.
and made that a very active piece for themselves.
Let's talk about her circumstance, and then we will say that
Sure,
this applies
sure,
to
sure.
anybody who,
Okay. So
may have
she
problems.
she is almost 50, single, looking after my mom and dad. And
Mm,
that by circumstance, choice, a mix of it, right?
mm,
And
mm,
she stays with them, she looks after them, and I don't stay with them. I live separately. So she's immersed into it, and it takes a
mm.
lot.
She's the
And for
primary caregiver to your
totally
parents.
both of them put
Mm,
together,
mm,
and they refuse to have any real active help because that's not how they have been brought up. They are used to giving it to others until 5 years
right,
back. Uh, till 5 years back, my father would be looking after his parents because that's
right.
just the kind of thing. And his parents were 95, 96
Wow.
almost. And um, that's the age that um, they passed away. So till that
Mm,
point of time, my father was looking after them, and my mother
right.
being even a bigger forerunner than my father because that's just the way things are around us.
Mm,
So she assumed that she did that, being the eldest in the family, and this and that, and all of those excuses were there, and all of those emotional reasons were there.
explanation.
Yeah, all of that, emotional reasons, and
Right.
all of those narratives and all of those practices were there, which they worked with. And for us to be okay with that, we had to work our lives around that for sure, because a lot of people who prioritized their careers or a lot of other things per se, either finance, because each of them have their own role. Somebody provides somebody provides something else, right? uh, and for the human connect, it was my parents, right? And for other things were others. So my sister has taken after that a lot, considers those values primary for her in life as a guiding marker. So as much as she would like a certain kind of career and a certain kind of success and to live up to her potential, she hasn't actively worked on that because she always put somebody else first. And it's never been that she could fully, properly put herself as a priority. And uh, having said that, I've seen what kind of effect it has had on her mental health, because the genes that I have, she has. So it comes out in a different condition for her, it comes out in a different condition for me. I've seen what it does uh, to people when she actually expresses herself and says, oh, this is what I'm choosing. And then if they have to deal with it, even at workplace or otherwise, because how can somebody so nice actually choose for themselves? How can they do something that's benefiting them and they are profiting? How can somebody who has this level of empathy actually say no? How can somebody how can somebody who understands blah 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 still take a leave? All of this, I've seen each of these, because if somebody is responsible, they're burdened. And that's been a lot of her journey. And when we started working together after 20 years of not collaborating, because it was a sibling relationship, right? So it is generally like, you don't look at my plate, what I'm eating, and I'm not going to look at your plate. Otherwise, we'll keep snatching. Then give me some of this and give me some of that. So it was almost treated as the same plate of food thing, saying that your career is your thing. Don't get me to, look into it. My career is my thing. You don't ask me something out of this. It pretty much like that. But I think 2019, I did a job fair, which was Vivid, which was for women returning to work, people with disability, LGBT folks, all kind of DI. Before the term DI was mainstream, really, and intersectionality was not so big at that point of time. Yet we did whatever that we could, and we won an Asia level award, and there was this thing. But she came in there doing recruitment, because she does recruitment largely. My parents were part of that job fair. They attended because she could not leave them behind. For the first time, my parents saw what I do in community work up close and personal. And I did not have more than 2 to 3 minutes to talk to them in the whole day, because there was so much going on in the first time IP, where I had 8 hours of programming and I'm running the show. And parents of um, you know like, there are WhatsApp groups of parents of people with disability who wanted to have a certain conversation. Nobody was equipped to speak about it and to actually have a conversation. So it was my number there, etc. So I was handing much more than what is possible. So I couldn't look after them, but they still carried a dabba for me, and it's there in Parmeshwar's book. That's become part of his memory as well. So caregiving, these are the kind of experiences that I've had in family, right? Because they know how, if I am working, then how I will generally be totally till the task is done. So they carried food, like 60 kilometers or something that they traveled, and they carried that for me, hoping that I'll eat when I was organizing food for 450 people right there with catering and everything. And obviously I would have something assigned for me, but parents being parents. And so this is it. My sister having challenges currently or whatever with it. Now that's a function of the age where my parents are at, and how they insist on being active in their own way.
Mm,
And us choosing, changing, doing whatever else in the caregiving aspect
mm,
is a choice that we have, and we are talking about it and we're figuring what is the best way. For career is the challenge piece.
mhm,
Caregiving, there are choices. Career is the challenge, because there is a lost ground, there is lost momentum, there is squandered opportunity. There's a lot of it that might need to be countered, and the equity piece has to be brought in, so that there is a certain, I won't say it will be the same, but at least there is support enough for it to, grow.
Mm.
So that's where it is at.
Tell me, you were saying, so explain this a little more. So your sister feels that she has lost opportunity. She, you know, needs to regain ground if she wants to build her career. Why does she want to build a career? She's 50.
Okay, so she doesn't feel that constantly, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's not a
Mm-hmm.
narrative that there is. She has had 25 plus years of work because she started working early and she was the first one. And I followed her footsteps and I worked post
Mm-hmm.
that. And she has lots of proof of her um,
Yes.
competence and the testimonials galore. And
Yes.
she chose industrial psychology about 22, 23 years back, 25 years back. Industrial psychology and organizational development as a postgrad at that point of time, where she saw
Yeah.
how it goes with HR. She did whatever. Mm, She's got her set of
Mm.
strengths, and they
Right.
are they are there. If somebody can't look at that skill set and can't tap into it, that's more a failure of the ecosystem, right? Rather than
Yeah.
her feeling left out or whatever. So that
Right.
that bit is clear to both of us in varying degrees at various point of time. With
Right.
each different encounter, we come to
Mm.
know that. Um, Wanting a career, or rather having a trajectory that does justice to, or that is
Mm.
fair to what her
Mm.
talent requires.
Mm.
Because when we are speaking to candidates day in day out, I do the skilling piece, she does the recruitment piece, and we have partners in the system. Sometimes we collaborate, sometimes we don't. Yet I'm a Macom person who started skilling
Mm.
because my love for learning is immense. It's more than any human
Mm.
put together. So give me
Mm.
things to learn and I'll be happy. It's a
Mm.
monkey brain that I have, I guess. Um, so, and Clifton Strength says that that's my number one quality,
Mm.
supposedly.
Mm.
So, I go by that. My sister is driven by her need for connection,
Mm.
which is even in caregiving. The connection has to
Mm.
be there. And that need for connection in career as well remains because you would like to be connected to your craft in the manner,
Yeah.
no matter what is changing outside, no matter what shape it is taking, you would like to do it for uh, you know the sheer mm, love of it. Why wouldn't
I was just
anyone?
being
Yeah.
provocative because,
uh,
like anybody who knows me would say, "What are you saying? What are you
I
saying?"
know that. I know that. These are not your words, but yeah, I
But I'm
totally
just
know
channeling
that.
some conventional thinking people
Yeah.
and saying, you've lived your life, you've done it, and but
Pass
what's
your glory
50 in
phase.
today's no, but what's 50 in today's day and time, right? You could start a whole new career. And that brings me to the returnee population. You recently mentioned to me that today nearly 80% of your ecosystem is women, most of whom may be returning to work.
Or
Uh,
they might be just starting after a pause.
yeah, yeah, I mean, post pause.
Yeah.
So, whatever, right? Um, what is the nature of this people? These people who
it,
pack.
it can't be peopled because these are just humans of all shapes, sizes, everything, everywhere. It's not just one kind. It is. I
Oh,
have
so
a
it's everyone is a unique thing.
Yeah, because there's a 26-year-old who had a very different life choice and different
Hmm.
conversation on why they did something. There is a 50-year-old who's doing something in a very different manner. There's an empty nester who's doing things in a very different manner. There is a daughter who's a director at a global organization and father's going through chemo and she's looking for something. That are all kind of humans. And I can't have the word people around them because it's not a unit. It is just it's just all kind of humans. And these persons, these, even if I say people in, person human context, okay, yeah, but not as a unit. I can't look at that as returning to work
Well,
as a unit.
a little while ago, you said the difficulty about the LGBT community is that they tend to be lumped together by society, but they are not. And again, now we are saying that in many organizations, this whole return to work population is lumped together as one large population.
Yeah.
You see the analogy and
Yeah.
how you are again resisting and saying, no, 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 all return to work are not the same. Can we please dignify each individual for their life experience? And that can be so hard because you see, I find that many organizations have, we have a returnship program. And then they have a standard learning program, a standard selection, and then we have an evaluation because that's what makes it easy for people who are managing that program, and understandably. But that may not do justice to the person that you are hiring. In your experience, tell me, what does a returning post-pause professional need from the workplace?
So apart from returning to work professional, I have even, queer individual conversation there, lived experience. So I
Okay.
will bring that also post this. So returning to work conversation is more of a hand holding and confidence building and skilling. It can't be standardized. When I speak to corporate, I speak about bridge programs. I don't speak about hiring programs. There's a difference.
Okay.
There's a difference between enabling
Hmm.
somebody to align with a certain way of functioning and
Mm-hmm.
optimizing for productivity sake or for output sake or whatever, as a team, as a unit. And there is a certain kind of resistance to reasonable accommodation that
Mm.
leads to people standardizing their processes as well. They're both of those things that happen.
Okay.
So while we are hiring systems, we have to check whether they are shortlisting to reject or shortlisting to onboard. That's something there because a lot of profiles, a lot of conversations will come and you will have a drop rate. You will have a certain kind of hand holding that might be required. You might have a certain kind of performance improvement, XYZ that will happen. What's your appetite? Are you doing
Mm.
it because it's a legacy program? I can't change it now. We are
Mm.
eighth year into the program. We're 12th year
Mm.
into the program. How can I change it
Mm.
now?
Mm.
Um, by choosing.
I have numbers to achieve.
Yeah, all of that. And I have dates by when I have to sign up everybody. After that, my
Yeah.
XYZ starts. After that, my campus hiring starts. After that, my XYZ batch
Yeah.
starts.
Yeah.
So the calendars that become bigger than humans, the job descriptions
Mm.
that become bigger than humans,
Mm.
each of those things become bigger than the person who's going to bring that kind of efficiency into your system, um, and that kind of input into your system. So that's often the case. Sometimes
But
we can challenge.
bringing in
Yeah.
diversity does not necessarily bring in efficiency in the system, does it? Makes it more difficult.
See, bringing in diversity by default will not, but uh, if you have a system that has spaces for this diversity to be heard, the output will be valued in a different manner when you have included diversity. because you can't have the same yardstick with which you measure um, a more diverse population. So if a certain kind of glass ceiling and above, it's just a brothers unit, a bro club, whatever, and it's easy for those people to navigate, if it's easier for Ivy League to connect to each other and blah blah blah, you're just avoiding a certain amount of challenge in life, right? You're being lazy, you're being convenient, you're just being all of that. You're just taking the easy route and doing that. So I would say
What's
you're not you're not even being courageous. All the risk appetite conversation is blah. It's just monetary risk that you take, and that's the muscle that you practice, and no other thing that you really have. So I call that out. And accountability is a very different ball game than just accommodation. So if you're accountable for the program working and its results, you will not look at just showing we onboarded X number of people. That will not be the yardstick with which you look at it. You will not say we
so
onboarded X kind of X people. So diversity with numbers. Now, those won't be the yardsticks with which you look at those. So many lives change, so many people are there in our system, so many people went from here to here, so many people got absorbed from X program to Y program. Those stories change, those cases change as soon as you have a richer, better, more responsive ecosystem.
great point, Praful. Let's take a shot at designing this program in your imagination. Which would be an ideal design of a program that handholds and brings in very, very different individuals? What do you think? How would it work?
I'm working on something currently, which
Mhm.
is a playbook of sorts where um, it's simulation, right? A
Mhm.
lot of life journeys and experiences, we have that repository, right? Even if I take
Right.
200 to 500 cases and I juice it out and see what is the most common conversation that comes in, right? From micromanagement to a lot of things that might not look evident on surface, but they come out. Or
Hmm.
returnees are subjected to bigger, what to say, protocols and all of those, and work logs are to be filled like it's a military regime and blah blah blah. Whatever be the case where the ball is being dropped or where there are flaws in the system, just being able to compile it, show it. It might be best practice across multiple organizations. It might be just one organization, however it is done. I'm talking at least having that handy for the hiring managers and for HR managers, because currently it is just, oh, this is what we know, so this is what we'll go by. हमारे यहाँ ऐसा होता है. There is no effort of knowing what can occur in the journey and being better equipped to knowing what are the challenges. Where we'll cross the bridge when we come to it. Is not the approach. So one, A, equipping people better. B, then having a system that has a bit more hand holding for hiring managers. Their sensitization, they are equally being, what to say, honed for being better leaders as the person who's onboarded. So the person,
Tell me, Praful, if I'm
hmm,
just being critical about it, right? Let's
yeah,
say I'm a CXO. I'm saying, listen, you tell me the business case for having diversity at the workplace is that it's going to improve my output. I'm going to have a different set of ways of thinking, solving a problem. I will have some representation. I will be sensitive, etc. Uh, Now, each person requires such a larger effort. We've worked so hard to build efficiencies
hmm,
and be able to run people through an assembly line, and now we just have a very large number. We are able to
hmm,
get so much more scale, and now you're
hmm,
saying individualize everything.
Hmm.
Uh, why? Why should I do it?
My conversation is, are we going to look at it as a mechanized output, or are we looking at it in a more alive manner? Because a mechanized output, okay, take AI, you don't need employees. We are as close to that. You don't need humans to be there.
Yeah, but I'm accountable to the markets and I'm
I,
accountable to the quarterly results.
all of that. You're
And
also accountable
yeah.
to people inside and their well-being, and not burning them out and not collapsing them and not being the place that's responsible for X kind of mental health degrade or X kind of life quality dip, etc. Saying that this is the organization where we felt subjected to blah blah blah. You're also
Mm,
responsible for that. You're also responsible for a person, like, you want to retain, right? There is a cost factor in that. You would like a
right.
person to have leadership qualities that you
Yeah.
might not be able to bring it into the training room or in a certain manner. You would like all of that to happen. Diversity again will bring a certain amount of leadership. By default, you might save costs on that kind of skilling for sure,
Interesting.
because
Interesting.
more lived experience in the room, you know how to tackle with more XYZ.
I like that point very much, Praful.
Yeah, so like,
The ability of your leaders
yeah.
to be better leaders
Hmm.
disproportionately goes up if you're having to deal with very, very different team members.
Yeah, it does. Like, war room, which is an abuse terminology.
Yeah.
Yet I'm going there because it's the language that a lot of people understand. So I'm like, strategy wise, same old, always.
Mm.
Predictability. If humans have
Mm.
learned it, machines can crack it just like that.
Faster.
How are you going to
Yeah. Yeah.
like go better and go bigger than getting newer ways and newer thoughts and newer energy into the system, and
Yeah.
you'll be complacent and you will be, rotting. You won't even thrive. You want to
Everybody
thrive.
has the same playbook then, and everybody's playing by the
Yeah,
same playbook. And then, how do you differentiate? It's as
absolutely.
simple as that.
Yeah. So how will you be
Yeah.
you unless uh you include all that life has to offer you? Like, what
Mm.
your company is being offered currently is unique to your company. If you are
Mm.
unable to take that in and to utilize it,
Mm.
there is a certain amount of failure. If, as an employer brand, you have a certain talent pool and your talent pool is not reflecting that pool, there is a disconnect. If,
Yeah.
uh, like for me, in last 3 to 4 years, going from, all three founders are from queer community, but only one is gender fluid amongst us. All three are masculine presenting among the founders. But who's performed the most, who's done the most challenging tasks, and who has shown up time and again? Women.
Mm.
For me to then go back and take one more masculine presenting person into my team and not acknowledge the equity that the people who have earned in last 4 or 5 years and who have shown up time and again is not something that is going to add value to us. I would
Mm.
rather empower the people who have shown up, and when I have choice, weigh both of them equally and say that, hey, listen, are we as an ecosystem, if we can do things and if we have systems where we can actually accommodate, collaborate with, and work and bring value with women, and where work discipline is very different, where adaptability is very high, where a lot of a lot of people desire this kind of skill set and we are getting it. Why wouldn't I take it? Why wouldn't I work with it? Why wouldn't I give it my best shot and say, okay, I have 3 months time, I have 6 months time, I have 1 year's time. I have that visible, right? I have the pipeline visibility of what is the work, what is the kind of task at hand. Why
Mm.
should I take it to something that has not shown up and delivered at the same rate as other, and where I have a clear proof of women delivering much more in my organization? And then if I
Mm.
do something due to my apprehensions or my bias or my whatever, no, this role, you can't go beyond this glass ceiling. No, you can't become, you can't come on the board of directors. I would rather say that one of the founders, you all dilute your equity and let a person who's head of the a certain business unit step up and get more voice
Mm.
in the space. Otherwise, I don't think so. I'm being fair to my business. I'm not being fair to what is my data uh, as well. So it's about that.
I hear you. Tell me, what do you, in your experience, are the challenges of women who have been caregivers, women or men, but because women are predominantly caregivers, what are the challenges of individuals who have been caregivers for very long? And what does that mean for organizations?
So I do have two very clear caregiver, uh, who are men who are around me
Mhm.
actively, and at work, having something at back of your mind is something that is distracting, or not being able to give your 100%
Mm.
is something that I always hear, even uh, men say when they are
Right.
caregivers, right? Women might not say it because it might not be taken well, but it is a fact
Mm.
that you do have something else on the burner as well, as
Mm.
behind, back of your head, back of your mind. And you do have things that are calling for your attention any which way. And for you to be, not always will the arrangements, the things are not always in your control. So you might drop the ball, things might go different. Then there is mental health. Obviously, that's a big one. Mental health for caregivers uh, is a very big conversation, and
What
not
does that
wait.
mean?
Burnout is so real for a caregiver. When you are constantly pouring from your cup and not having time to refill into it, it is a space that is not sustainable for anybody.
But aren't women supposed to be better at it anyway?
Are they supposed to be at top of the game always? What's the strike rate for Olympics champions? What is the kind of um 10,000 hours, and then what is the retirement? Do in caregiving, do you get any of that? Is there a caregiving
Mm.
championship? Is there equal response? Is there reward? Is there applause? Is there, like, so I in Mumbai, urban places around me, there's a very interesting practice where Sundays the whole family will go out and eat,
Mhm.
right? One meal, two meal, depends on economic this thing. Even if you're getting something packed from outside and eating at home, whatever, there's an interesting practice. Most, like, a lot of people do it. A lot of people do it. Men cooking on that day. A lot of these things. That Sunday, when families together, when you have time, blah blah blah. Let's not burden the person so much. And I see that coming out of the sheer need that the person is exhausted by the time Sunday comes. They're
Yeah.
depleted, and half the time it is just that even if I can just shut eye for 1 hour, just catch up on that and breathe a bit and not have somebody dance on my head, I'll be so thankful and so grateful. It comes out of the sheer need and basic acknowledgement of what is humane and what is not. And in caregivers, because the boundaries are often not so strongly maintained, emphasized, and not clear, because as things progress, um, a lot of people do not have clear ways of taking care of themselves. Like I was
Mm.
telling you earlier, uh, I'm I'm looking at changing the practice of saying take care to people, because it's more about gifting care and receiving care. And when you receive it, that not being more valuable than when you gift it. And it has to be a
Mm.
mutual give and take. And take care is a very, what to say, it's an encouragement for people to get more folks involved, but at what cost? That cost is important.
It's an interesting thing. It's like, you end up saying, Acha, okay, take care. And you take care as if the responsibility again is on the same person. And I
Hmm.
recently read this concept of weaponization of self-care.
Yeah.
And you're making it that person's responsibility rather than sharing and making it happen for that person.
Yeah. So, so if
So
it,
tell me a little more
hmm.
about your gift care concept.
Gift care concept comes from access consciousness. It's a mindfulness and healing practice modality that I do, and it's not totally from there. It's not totally outside. It's somewhere in between, because gifting and receiving is a concept from there. As far as healing is concerned,
Mm.
care is interpreted in my own words in a certain manner.
Okay. Mm.
So, marrying both of those, this thing comes
Mm.
in. Yet, uh, what I believe is we assign values to a lot of things, and care is one of them,
Mm.
right?
Okay.
Um, when we ask people to do something for us,
Mm. Mm.
knowing that what it takes for them to arrive there, right?
Mm.
Not just like today, I had ordered food right before this, and I went down, and there was this young boy, and he was outside the gate, sitting on his scooty, trying to call me. He had not even stepped in. His call hadn't gotten through, and I need to get lunch done for this session. And yet, he must not even be 20, and he's doing this to sustain himself. I can't count that against that person that his call is not gotten through, and he's waiting for whatever 8-10 minutes, whatever, and I'm trying to call him and he's not picked it up, and this and that and blah. Can't be counting it against that person. A, because am I tipping the person extra as per this thing of them being able to support education for the age that they are? They're meant to be actually
Yeah.
studying. So
Yeah.
am I tipping what, $500? Is anybody else doing it for us to expect that kind of care to be taken? Of food,
Mm.
of the order, of me, of whatever, are
Mm.
we even putting back, depositing back into the system? So Torrent has this term of seeding and leaching. When you take something, it's peer to peer, right? And people who what to say contribute are called seeders. Others are called
Mm.
leechers. So are you seeding
Yeah.
enough, or are you just leeching?
Yeah.
That is uh, the space from where I approach this thing, because nurturing is a shared responsibility. Nurturing planet, humanity, culture, whatever be the thing, and health of whatever kinds, financial health, physical health, all of that is something that we have to do together. Like my firm's tagline, one of the brands that we have under 6 degrees, economics, the tagline is equity to well-being. And it was
Mm.
formed in 2020 when I
Mm.
was formalizing the company, etc. Right? And when DI conversations and the kind of pushback that recently came in. Post that, nomenclatures changed and everything went to well-being
Mm.
and wellness.
Mm.
And with how much power or how much powerlessness can the person approach that well-being is according to a lot of factors: gender, race,
Mm.
language,
Mm.
privilege, blah, blah, blah. Right? At the core of it is a lot of well-being and a lot of power.
Mm.
At periphery is barely anything and nothing. So equity to well-being is the thought that I have there, that as
Mm.
much as you gift, there'll be balance, there'll be more equity,
Mm.
there'll be more well-being.
Mm.
Otherwise, we'll be like Gurgaon, where they are now figuring how to take care of their waste and garbage
Yeah.
because housing is not there, things are not there.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have gifted us your time and your perspective and a thought process, and I'm grateful for that. How can I gift care to you?
You already have by keeping space and holding space for us to have this dialogue. And yeah, thank you.
On that note, Praful, thank you. Thank you for sharing your point of view and walking this path with me. It has been quite a journey. I have definitely got a perspective that I enjoyed, that has made me think, and it's good to have an ambassador.
Thank you.
All the very best, Praful. I look forward to many more opportunities to collaborate.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching this episode of Future Fit Corporates. If today's conversation resonated with you, don't let it end here. Join the Future Fit Corporates Club or the FFC Club. Explore our full dossier and discover powerful blogs from our past speakers. Let's move beyond inclusion as a buzzword. Let's make diverse experiences, especially experiences of caring for others, caregiving, a leadership strength. Together, we can truly build not just a caring world, but future fit workplaces. Until next time, take care and let's keep the conversation on.